The point of Industry Insider is to talk to industry movers and shakers, and there's a particular focus that we're interested in. There's a lot of vendors out there and consultants and trainers that are sharing great things out there to the industry, but we want to talk to dealers because they're on the front line, and we're calling this dealer to dealer conversations. And so that's really important to us, is that we hear from the people that are on the ground about relevant topics today. We're going to introduce our guests, but I just want to mention that in this COVID crisis, TrueCar is doing a lot to help support dealers, and we want to make sure we're there for you. So in addition to billing concessions, we are offering free tools like remote retailing tools. We're offering, we added payments to our site so that a customer can get not only an upfront price and upfront trade value, but also payments. And I also want to mention that if you offer delivery to the customer in this time, we are now badging dealers with a buy from home badging if you opt in to those standards. So we're doing a lot right now to help you with your remote retailing process in this time. Matt, I've been working in the industry for 20 years now. I know you have been on the ground yourself. Give us a little background.
Yeah, so I've been in the business for close to 20 years as well. The first 12 were actually selling cars in Southern California. Started at an import car store in the San Fernando Valley. The last 7 years have been on the industry education side. And one of the reasons that we were so excited to put this program together for you is because although Carrie's got 20 years in the business and I got 20 years in the business, we're not selling cars at this moment on the ground right now. And so to kind of separate the conversation from everybody who's talking to vendors, and there's no fault with that, we really wanted to give you people who are optimistic, but not just optimistic, being very successful in this environment. So we're very happy to kick off this program with a general manager from a Ford dealership in Daytona Beach, Florida. His name is Jeromie Allan, and there he is right there. Now, Jeromie, before you get started, I want to let you introduce yourself. But before you do, I want to be in full transparency. I've had a crush on this dealership for about 5 years. It's the truth. A couple years ago, I learned that this dealership, and I'm out here in LA, but I learned that there was a dealership in Florida that was having a free driving school for teens. And that really resonated with me because at that time, I had a teen who was hitting the ground. And I know that you know what you're taught at school, but you're not taught how to drive defensively or evasively. And here's a dealership out in Florida using their cars and their lot, bringing in teens to make them safer drivers for all of us. So that's when the love affair began. And so I started saying, well, what are these guys doing in COVID? And then turns out they're doing pretty good for as well as the world will allow. So I'll shut up. Jeromie, would you please tell the crowd, introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Jeromie Allan. I am the general manager of Gary Yeomans Ford. We're a large Ford store here in Daytona Beach. We typically rank in the top 30 to 40 in the country in Ford. Top 10 in CPO sales. We have about 300 employees. Body shop, full operation, 25 acres, large showroom. All the requirements to have a challenging environment when different things get thrown your way, like COVID has.
Absolutely. How long have you been in the business?
1997. However long that is, I quit counting.
And Jeromie, just in full disclosure, you're not only a TrueCar dealer, but we also have a mutual friend, Frank Lopes.
Yes, we
has worked with your store for years, and he's one of the best. So I'm glad we have a mutual friend.
Yeah, for sure. Frank solicited me probably in my first year, actually probably first 4 or 5 months here at the dealership. And I turned him down for several months. And then we finally got together about that first year. And we built a real solid relationship that we feel like works and sells cars together. And I enjoy everything that Frank and his team at Forrest and Blake do.
Awesome. So Matt, let's talk about why are we here for this Insider?
I think everybody on the call is going to know that this has just been a really difficult time, right? Based on environment, some dealerships are partially closed, some are fully shuttered. The short version is that this is a difficult time for our business. I don't think we're going to sugarcoat to it. It's a difficult time, but even within that, you can still find gleaming lights. You can still find people who are succeeding if the opportunity presents themselves. And one of the reasons we wanted to bring in Mr. Allan is because he is an example of that. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I'd like for you, if you don't mind, I'd like for you to share a little bit about what kind of numbers your store is pacing and how that compares like year over year to like last April.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this started in March for us, right? So last March, 2019, we sold 465 cars. So that's kind of our average month in, month out. It's about 460, 475. We touched 500 in December months and some holiday months. So we ended up in March with, I think, 393 cars. And that was, what I would say a little bit probably my fault looking back in hindsight. But 393 cars, getting hit with COVID in the middle of the month, not knowing what to do, I think speaks to kind of what we've done in April. So April, in 2019, we sold 442 cars. This morning, we're pacing just a little over 400. And we've been pacing just a little over 400 since the beginning. I should say, too, we closed this Easter, and we didn't close last Easter. So we're minus a day for what that means in, tracking. But the long short, I read that some stores that are fortunate enough to be open are off, as much as 50 to 80%. And, we're fortunate enough to be off a few percent. So, in doing so, I came to the conclusion, like everybody, that when this started, I was really waiting the world to tell me what to do. I was waiting for our leadership, my governor, our president, to give us an understanding what was going on. I was sitting at a restaurant on Friday night at the middle end of April, and they said we were getting shut down. We had to leave the restaurant at 8 o'clock. Like, wow, okay. And so I spent that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I don't know, pouting, not really understanding how this was going to affect our business or our people. And I went on through that week, and our state did get shut down, except for businesses that were deemed essential. And in our case, we were deemed that we were able to stay open in sales and in service in our body shop. So what I ultimately did is I kind of went to sleep. I came to work on Monday morning. Our store was in a fog. They didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Tuesday, kind of the same thing. And Wednesday, I went home and I said, I think, like me, I'm waiting for someone to tell me what to do. I need to come up with a plan. And that night, I fired off a bunch of emails to my team. I wanted to meet with them in the morning, and we met in a large conference room, and we discussed what we should do going forward until we were told what to do. And we felt like we should make an attempt to sell cars, service, and parts. So we did. And in that meeting, we were together for probably 3 or 4 hours, and we talked about how we were going to run our service department, our parts department, our sales department. And it started with, scaling back our schedule. With having 300 employees here day to day, we knew we couldn't do that. So we went immediately to an every other day schedule. We put everybody on an A/B shift. And the A/B shift, you work Monday, you're off Tuesday. You work Wednesday, you're off Thursday. And it just rotates throughout the entire shift. So that eliminated 50% of our staff right there. So I didn't have to make tough decisions about, telling people to stay home. The schedule dictated that. I also reduced our hours. We reduced our hours to hours that, we just kind of trimmed the fat. We weren't as accessible as we always were to help with that schedule. And then we decided we probably, reach out to, we had already been probably ahead of the cleaning portion of COVID, seeing it all over the news. We had already, had our cleaners cleaning twice a day, janitorial cleaning at night. I hired a full-time janitor that's here 24/7. They're here wiping down, tables, computers, and then we, as a management team, also do that. We went throughout the building, and any rooms that we felt like were too small, we close those off.
Mm.
Any rooms that we have a big showroom, by the way, but any rooms that, like maybe the sales tower where typical salesmen will congregate, we put a limit on those rooms, how many people can be in them. Break rooms, same thing, only so many people can be in there. So we wanted to manage from a perspective of making sure that not only are we caring, but first, most important is one of our dealership philosophies that Mr. Yeomans has, is we take care of our employees. If we take care of our employees will take care of our customers. And by adapting that and getting everybody on board from the management down, we were able to come up with a plan that day that number one, for our employees, the schedule, number two, how we were going to advertise, and which is an important part of this. I was like everybody else 2 days prior to that, I canceled everything. Panic cancel. Canceled it all. Well, if we can't sell cars, I don't need advertising. And again, that Wednesday, I said, maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe we should be advertising, but we should be telling people that what we're able to accomplish for them. And bottom line is, people do need to use our service departments and our parts departments. And we found that people still wanted to buy cars because I was still getting leads, and I was still getting people coming through the showroom. So how do we handle all that? And so we I wrote a letter to our employees. I wrote a letter to our customers. I posted that online, what they could expect when they get to Gary Yeomans Ford. And fortunately for us, we had a pickup and delivery van that had delivered about middle of March that I had ordered from Ford. Not one of them, but two of them. So we were able to deliver cars, and we're able to deliver service, mobile service to customers. And it just so happened that all this happened in the same time as COVID. So we were kind of kicking it off. Right?
You're already ahead of the game in some ways, either by design or by luck, or it doesn't really matter, right? You're ahead of the game. But I gotta dissect like so much of what you said, Jeromie, because I'm all over the place. I got like leadership lessons here, and marketing lessons, and sales lessons, and so let me just like break this down. And I know, Matt, you're probably like chomping at the bits to break this down. So I got to just start at the very top first. Is like leadership. Because I heard you say things about like our management had to get together. I had to create a plan. You obviously were thinking about yourself and your own plan as a general manager, but what did you challenge your leaders to do differently in this environment as leaders, as sales managers?
It's a good question. I quickly identified, first of all, I think the number one job as a general manager is to get everybody on the same playbook, operating. And I quickly had to convince them that this was going to be something that none of us had been through, no matter how many years of experience we had in the room, that none of us had operated. And this was going to be hour to hour, day to day changes, and they needed to be prepared. And what I quickly learned through this is the more I communicated with them, the more that they bought into whatever it was that we decided to do. They were just in, right? So I asked our managers, number one, to manage, and to manage by walking around our dealership and making sure that we are doing what we say we're going to do, which is protecting our employees and protecting our customers, number one. And number two, if we were getting people that were coming in, we were probably going to have to look at and deal with them differently. Number one, obviously, we can't shake hands. We can't communicate the same way. So we immediately, we kind of change up our sales process a little bit, where no back and forth. We just immediately, if someone's interested in buying a car, our manager come out and we squared that up right from the get-go. We're going to go praise your car. We're not going to go back and forth with you. If you don't want to negotiate, that's great. We'll get you an appraisal on a car. We'll give you some options, what's best for you. Obviously, what plays a key, feature in all of this is the manufacturer with the great incentives that they threw out there, which happened to be that Wednesday too. So it allowed us to get a game plan together. And my management team, to answer your question, they got behind us and executed. And I have a wonderful team here that care of our employees and take care of our customers. So I'm very blessed to have a lot of talent people.
So what about, and I want to jump into the sales process, but before that, I also heard you say something about marketing and how, that first couple days you were like, let's cancel it all. So
All right.
what was the shift for you, like in terms of marketing? How did you determine if I am going to keep my marketing partners, hopefully TrueCar, what does that look like? How did I determine which partners you're going to keep?
So I felt like I shouldn't mess with anything digital. All right, number one. Number two is the message that I had out at the beginning of March on TV. I knew that wasn't going to work. Whatever was on radio wasn't going to work. Whatever, videos that I had out there probably weren't going to work just because of the time. So I had to rewrite the script. And in rewriting the script, I'm thankful to work with, one of the best guys in advertising around, but Jeff Horning, and of course, he's my operations director, and he does a lot of our commercials. So I got with him and his creativity and mine. I said, I think what we should do is put nothing but positive vibes out in the market. Number one, we're open. Number two, we're here to help. Number three, 84 months for 0%. What's that mean? Let's put a positive spin to that. What does interest savings like that mean? What's going to happen to your trade-ins? And we just started trying to educate our customers through videos and educate them through video. And I put it out there on YouTube. And I think if you go to my YouTube and look, but I'm going to guess we shot about 6 or 7 different videos, and we're well over 100,000 views on those videos. And that's a lot of Frank getting us in the right places at the right time. But those videos, I think it made people curious. And we made commercials every day. In fact, for that first Wednesday or Thursday, I think we made 4 commercials in one day. And we shot it with an iPhone. We shot it with a microphone. And then we sent it to Frank. And some of it we left raw intentionally. And some of it Frank cut up and made a national spot out of it, where I was able to the next day put it on TV. And I put it on all the news stations. I bought every news station up, and every single news station. And then I called my radio stations and asked them to put it on their news, and as part of our partnership, and their AM radio, just not their traditional FM radio. And we created those videos, and then I reduced my pricing on used cars. I pretty much took out all the fun out of every used car and lowered it to cost. And my leads from I did 950 leads in March. Last April I did right out 1,000 leads, and this morning I'm pacing 2,000 leads into my internet system, and I'm not paying $1 more than what I was last month. I think all this digital strategy and curiosity and my pricing has created opportunities. Now my closing ratio sucks. I'm usually like 17, 18%, but right now we're at 11 or 12. But what it's done is it's created an opportunity for my team and staff to sell cars.
Okay. And you said 900 leads before. Was that 900 and 2,000 now?
Yes. This morning I'm pacing 9.
Matt is speechless.
As of today,
Matt, jump in.
as of today, I have 1,256 leads today. That's where
1,256 as of the 21st.
As of the
and for those who are new on the show here, just a shout out to Frank Lopes. When he says Frank, he's talking about Frank Lopes. And by the way, Frank says my man Jeromie, so he's commenting, he's listening in. But so that's amazing. So you were on YouTube. Did you push these videos on social media at all? Like,
we did. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Instagram and Facebook. Frank did a great job with getting us out on Facebook, and it's where a lot of our views came from. And again, if you go watch those videos, they've got 15, 20, 25,000 views a piece. And that's do what?
And how much did it cost to make these videos?
Zero. My time, Jeff's time. He likes ice cream. I got him some ice cream.
No, I think what you're saying is so important, because there are dealers doing great things out there right now that are above and beyond, but how you communicate it is like the important piece. When I go to your website, is it clear to me what you're doing with COVID, what your policies are? Are you even open? And I think that was so smart of you to put that in video form, which is really easy to absorb.
And when you look at your landing page, I've been spending some time on that because I look at a lot of dealership sites. Just like Carrie said, people do great things, but you have to dig through a ton to find it, right? But what I'm really giving you props for is what you're doing on your store is on your landing page. I counted, we will deliver cars no less than 3 times on your landing page, so there's no ambiguity on there. And a lot of the value props are right front and center, whereas somebody else may offer home delivery, or they may have a COVID process, but if they're not putting it front and center, especially if you've killed your marketing or your advertising budget, how are your people supposed to know this? Right. So these are reasons we wanted to really get in touch with you and have you talk so that you can kind of advocate these things. You said something that kind of piqued my interest. I sold for a long time, so I have to ask you some sales questions. Okay, I got to ask you some sales questions. So the question I had, how have things shifted? You cut your staff into a A/B schedule, a day on, a day off, right? Which blows my mind entirely, because anybody who sold cars, I think we all would agree, the biggest problem is that you're there all day, every day, forever, right?
Yeah.
And so
6 days a
week.
week.
An environment where people are working less, but having essentially the same productivity. So there's got to be some magic behind that. I'm hoping that you'll share a little bit of that.
All right. So that was that Wednesday when all this started. Then I had a Friday meeting with my sales staff. So I invited all 60 salespeople, plus all my managers, plus all my finance managers, and we went out in the parking lot. Okay, and it was like we were having church in my parking lot. We were all 6 feet apart. We're all 6 feet apart. And we couldn't go into our meeting room, right? But I wanted to communicate to my staff what we were doing. All right. So now I had come up with these videos. Frank had already got them back to us. I had showed them the videos. I'm showing them where to go so they can watch them, so they can buy in and believe in what we're doing. Because without their execution, without the employees and execution management's, nothing. So you got to make sure that the managers believe, but the sales staff, they have to buy in on what we're doing and what we're doing. And one of the first things I told them is that if you don't want to be here, and if you don't feel comfortable being here, it's okay. Go home. You can take a week off. You can take a month off. You still have a job here. Okay, you don't have anything to worry about. If you want to work by appointment, you can work by appointment. But the schedule going forward will be every other day, and that's what we would ask you to work if you want to participate in that. So in doing that, getting their buy-in, I told them about we're going to do more remote deliveries. We do a good job with it already, but we're actually going to execute it. We're going to ask the customers to buy a car that way, which is a little different. Normally the sales manager tells them, get them in. We're going to tell them stay home. Okay. So, and then tell them to stay home. I'm very unorthodox when it comes to getting messages across, but I think sometimes money does it. And I told them, if you deliver a car to someone's house, you get $100 spiff on top of all your spiffs. So I'm paying them $100. So I know they're going to tell the customer, can I bring it to you?
Right.
They're going to get my message across, right? And again, that created less people in the showroom floor, created less people here at the dealership. So you can look up and we can have 15 cars out on a Wednesday or Thursday, but you didn't see half of them in the dealership, right? So we took that and we encouraged the customer, stay home. We will go out and do a Facebook video of your trade. Send that to us. We'll appraise your car. Okay. We have all these lead promoters, send the information in. We all know what those are designed to do, which is get a lead. We actually want to use this to sell a car. So go give me a picture. I don't want to hear a sales manager say, get them in. I don't want to hear a sales manager say, I got to see their trade. Okay. That language is not permitted moving forward during this whatsoever. If we have to have managers drive out and look at the car, that's the way we're going to do business. So we're going to make the customer feel incredibly comfortable. Every lead, then I require the salespeople go out, video the car, go show them the car. Yes, I've got great photos of the car, but go show them it's here, show them who you are, and do a quick 10, 30-second video of the or of the car you're trying to sell, and then see if they're interested. Would they like to test drive it? Would they like to drive it for a day or 3? It's all that's okay with us. We just want to make it really transparent and comfortable for the customer, so that, and the salesperson, so that we can exercise and sell cars. My whole goal here is just to keep money turning, right? Keep selling cars during this, so that our dealership is successful. Our families, they can continue to feed their families. You know, we don't have 300 salespeople. We have 1,200 family members, and I feel it's my job to take care of them.
And Jeremy, there's a lot of questions coming through. I want to actually address some of them. So Frank, by the way, said that a lot of your leads were from your dealership website, and he gave a little plug to TrueCar. He said you got a lot of TrueCar leads too. No exaggeration. Let's see. We have JF Najar. I probably messed your name up. He says, do you feel that employees were fresher utilizing that schedule where they were on and off half the time?
Man, I don't know if they were pressured or if they
fresher. He meant like fresher, like they have more energy.
Yeah.
They weren't working every day.
If there's several things that I've learned from this so far, but one of them is that we may keep that schedule forever. Period.
Interesting.
Hands down. We're more productive on a day-by-day basis. There's less people standing around. There's less salespeople promoting negative information. There's less salespeople, kind of getting in the cloud and getting upset. When they come here to work, they know their work and they got the next day off. I mean, it's refreshing to see them and know that if they want to be here, they want to be here. Normally you have to get a staff and you always have to motivate them, right? What am I going to motivate them 6 days a week? How do I keep them excited? The popcorn and the pizza, whatever we got to do to, to make them happy and try to sell cars. Here, they're showing up every other day ready to sell. And they're excited about it. And they're high-fiving. They love the schedule. Other than maybe holidays or holiday weekends, I can't imagine the schedule going back to the way it used to be.
That's their secret weapon. He encourages and incentivizes the actions that sell cars. So did it work? I mean, were the majority of your sales delivered to the customer's home? Did the incentive work in that way?
Yeah, no, we're delivering about 40 to 50% of our cars every day to the customer.
40 to 50% of what would you say that you were before?
We were probably 10, maybe 15%.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Wow. Okay, so I got to talk to you about one other thing you said.
Sure.
You know what's coming. No back and forth.
Yeah. Yep.
Tell me about that. Talk to me about that. Like, I got to hear more about that one.
Okay, so in all of this strategy, I felt like educating the customer that now is a good, and I tell my staff, this is an opportunity. This COVID-19, this way we're selling cars, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get new customers. My mobile service van is changing batteries right now. Customers that have never stepped foot in Gary Yeomans Ford. Okay, we don't care who we're trying to help, but to me, it's an opportunity to reach out to our community and help them buy a car or service their car or get a part for a car, whether it's pickup and delivery or whether it's mobile service. So, I feel like that the win here is that by getting the staff to say we can still sell cars a different way, parts and service a different way, we're able to reach out to the customer and truly help. And so with the no back and forth, when I said, hey, we're not going to do business the same way we always did, and we try to have early management intervention. Every dealer out there would tell you they do, but I mandated it. Okay, if bottom line is if there's a customer that comes in, a manager has to go out and talk to them. Number one, I want to educate them and ask them why they're here, because something drove them to come in here during a pandemic, right? I mean, was it the education? Was it the 0%? What do they want a better deal? Do they to get out of their trade? But during this time, customer that, hey, auctions are closed. We don't know what your car's worth. We're going to do our very best to get you the very most for your car. But it's not going to be like going back and forth before. We're not able to do that. We're going to share with you what we can do, and we're going to share with you how hopefully it saves you money and betters the position that you're in currently. So it's been an opportunity to help customers, and that's what we've tried to turn it into, is truly helping them, and it's allowed us to sell 120 new Fords this month, plus some Lincolns, plus 140 used cars so far. So
amazing. Nikki Risley, I don't know if you know Nikki. She said Jerome Allan, Frank Lopes, and Jeff Horning equals incredible leadership, consistency, and communication, overcoming adversity. So you have some fans definitely commenting in. One of the things that there's so much I found that's important, but just the incentivizing people, the communication, the management involvement is so critical, and I think so when you talk about the back and forth, was your process before, did you have a lot of back and forth? I mean, was it kind of more of the typical negotiation, trade appraisal process that a lot of dealers have?
I think I would consider us 50-50.
Okay.
We live in Daytona Beach. We have a lot of people that like to buy a car the old way. They like to negotiate, and they spend time wanting to negotiate and doing their homework and want to go back and forth and fight for their trade. And then we have consumers that are younger that want to be straightforward, and they want all the information, and we want to give it to them. And one thing that we train here at Gary Yeomans Ford is whatever the customer wants, let's give them that. Okay, it doesn't have to be our way. Let's make it their way, right? So let's make it the way they want to buy a car. And if we can, work with them on terms of how they would like to do business, whether it's back and forth or whether it's, quick and here's what we can do, we found that our closing ratios go higher, and our advertising dollars, they're much better spent.
What type of customers are you seeing right now? You talked about, if someone comes in to buy a car right now, they probably really, really need a car. But you were saying that people are driven by the interest rates, and some people, what are you seeing from a consumer standpoint? What is driving consumers to buy a car right now in the COVID crisis?
I can only speak for us, right? So I believe that all the hard work and I truly believe this, all the hard work and the videos that we put out there has driven curiosity. Okay. And when curiosity is in your mind, is it a good time to buy a car? Should I be taking advantage of that 0%? Can I lower my payment? Can I get into a new car for the same money with more features? Can I do those things? And by the way, we haven't even talked about this. Plus, the manufacturer and some banks, they're doing no payments for 4 or 5 months. So it's an opportunity for someone to not have a financial burden for an automobile, right? So we've had those customers, and then we've had lots of customers that I think are curious. And then, once they get curious, it's like the old Best Buy commercial. They come out of the store with a lot of stuff, if you did the job right, So for us, it's been exciting. Our staff selling 500 cars in a month or selling 400 in April. With COVID-19, I think that maybe this is the most excited I've ever seen them. And so they're all bought in, not just me. They're doing the work. They're out here executing, and they've done a great job, and they continue to kick butt. So
that's awesome.
That's fantastic. I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of the numbers. I'm in awe of the schedule, and I'm just in awe of the buy. Hey, has the no back and forth, has it helped CSI at all?
Yeah, no. So this month we're at a 5.0 for CSI. We've had I think 1 or 2 previous months CSIs come through, but yes, it's helped, and it's helped in service. So I read something from Ford today that CSI is harder right now, and that CSI is actually dipped in service, but ours has actually went up. So, and I think it's truly because of the transparency and all the things we're doing, and we're communicating more efficiently than what we were before. And sometimes when there's less people around, less managers, less people, I think it's just easier to keep clear in the sand, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have too many, chiefs or not enough Indians, sometimes it gets muddy. Well, here we're able to manage the people a little easier. We're able to manage the process and manage the leads that are coming in and get the message out that we want. And bottom line is, if you can do that and do business the way that the customer wants to do it, you're going to have great CSI, right? We're a President's Award-winning team. We've won 17 years, I think. We've won Lincoln back-to-back years. We're one of the only dual Ford stores that has Lincoln in the building that's won Lincoln and Ford in the same year. And that's hard to do because they're two different buyers. But we believe in taking care of our customers.
So, Jeromie, let's talk about the service side. I mean, obviously, TrueCar, we're focused a lot on the sales process, but I'm curious on the service side of the business. How did your process have to shift with COVID, and how is that different?
Yeah, great question. So, third week of March, we dropped about 20%. Fourth week of March, we dropped about 25% traffic. And then we dropped about 30 to 40% from every week from April. And we're starting to see a trend for it to go back up. Okay. So we normally do it about 165 ROs a day. We had got down to 75 to 80, 90. Now we're coming up back over 100. So number one is, I think you have to communicate, number one, that we're open and what they could expect when they're coming in. So there's less cars on the road, guys. So, there's less cars on the road, so you don't have to service them. And, there's less cars getting wrecked right now. My body shop, it's down about 40%. It's because there's just not as many accidents right now, right? So in the service industry, we really, being the service department, we felt like that the customers were going to be a lot more judgmental about our process than they were on the sales process. And we found that to be true. So we took extra precautions right away. We ordered steering wheel covers. I ordered 5,000 gloves. I ordered, a antibacterial machine that allows us to spray the cars when they're in the lane, so that we can keep the customers' cars clean while they arrive and when they actually leave on destination. But we just wanted to let the customers know that we're here and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that their car is safe with us. Bottom line, they have to get their cars fixed. But it wasn't about how much money or the process. We just want to do whatever it was for them. And this mobile service, we're doing about 10 visits a day right now. Out into the community, changing batteries, windshield wipers, whatever it needs, we're doing it. We're not charging a service for it. We're just going out and taking care of our customers. So, that's what sells cars is servicing cars.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I wanted to, if I could jump in, I'm still thinking about, I'm trying to get better, but I'm still thinking about sales. Okay? Trying to get better. I'm trying to be a more well-rounded human individual with sales. Now, on your landing page, because I've been stalking you in your store, on your landing page, there's a good-looking man telling the world why they should buy a Ford F-150 for 84 months, right?
Yeah.
And there's some math involved, which was really exciting. And I'm sure that you know what the video that I'm talking about because it's there and you must know about it. Tell me please explain that video for the people who haven't seen it and tell what the thought process was behind it, because I'm actually a really big fan of that video and the Ranger video. Cool.
So what we wanted to do, we created a Mustang video like it too. It's just not on the site, but it's out on YouTube. So on 2019's, Ford came out with 0% for 84 months, and we had a lot of F-150s left. We had quite a few Rangers left. We had quite a few Mustangs left. So we wanted to shoot some video that explained to the customers. I think that the message 0% for 72 months has been going on for so long that we felt like that we needed to do something different. So 0 for 84, what's that really mean? Do they want to engage in it? So 0 for 84, and when you're taking a $50,000, $60,000 vehicle, and then you're using a conventional interest rate of 4 or 5, we're able to show the math, both sides, and real math that the consumer was saving $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 by taking 0% for 84 months.
Right.
And it allows the consumer to actually see the worksheet, right? So we put problem A on the left and problem B on the right, and then the savings down at the bottom, and 0% for 84 was the way to go. And it created that curiosity that I've talked about so much, that has driven leads, and they want to know, hey, does this apply? And does this apply? Can I get 4 months no payments and the 0%? And it allows us to do what we do, and that's sell cars. We wanted to, through this time, we wanted to have opportunities. I never ever would have guessed we'd wake up this morning facing 1,950 internet leads. Okay.
Amazing.
I would have done this a long time ago.
Right. Frank said that video is gold, by the way, Matt. I wanted to add.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Isn't it? So, like, what I really wanted to add in this, because this is something that we've been, talking about at TrueCar, is the importance of telling your message, right? The importance of showing off what makes you better, even on your landing page. And this is the last thing I'm going to talk about on your landing page. There's a button that says, "Why buy here?" I'm like, duh, right? Shouldn't everybody have, like, right in front, like, let me tell you why you want to spend a couple hours and a couple $1,000 with me, and you're doing an admirable job of it. I really love, I'm not familiar with seeing such things. So for the people, if you want to, like, a masterclass on it, go to, GaryYeomansFord.com and just check it out. Just right on the landing page.
Matt, my question for you is, how often are you on his website? Because it seems like you're getting to the creeper level of, like, visiting Jeremie's website. Look at your analytics, Jeremie. It might be
recommended. I wanted to make sure that I was completely behind everything that this guy is doing, and the landing page tells who you are. So I've spent some time. I'm probably in your analytics somewhere. Mr. Allan, you probably seen somebody from Long Beach, California, perusing your site. That was me. But I'm really excited about it. I think this is a great messaging.
We have a couple different brand messages, and that's part of it, is, what we do and who we are and how we do it. And we want to communicate that to the customers, what they can expect. And that brand messaging, I hold my staff pretty accountable for that. And I think if you asked any of them, we just don't say those things. We mean those things. And if they don't, you probably can't work here. The goal is to take care of our customers. So that stuff that's on there, we mean it. And, we're looking for long-term, lifelong customers that are going to buy cars from Gary Yeomans Ford. And it's by getting everybody to, again, buy into it. What's it mean to do it the Yeomans way? Once they do that, and then once they buy in, they understand, and maybe they made a mistake, maybe they got their hand slapped, but next time they'll know the Yeomans way is to take care of our customers and to meet that brand message that we put out there. So this has all worked really well for us, because we had a lot of things in place. It just made us execute them. And we didn't have to really execute them before, but we knew that the front door was going to be locked. We knew that the front door was not going to have the same opportunities that it once had. So we were going to have to communicate what we do well online, which is really hard to do. Mm-hmm. It's not easy at all, and it takes time. You have to build a staff that's willing to do it. You have to build a staff that's willing to change from, how I got in the car business. And once they do, and once they see it, numbers grow. Numbers don't lie. Stats do not lie. And that's how we judge our business, is by actually taking a look at the data, and we follow the data. Okay, we don't, I have my eye test, my ear test, and then I have a data test, which is, does everything point to what the data says? And if it doesn't, we've got, a process, or maybe a pay plan problem. I've got to figure out how to drive the activity that we want.
No, I love that, looking at the data, because I think in our business, there's a lot of decisions that are made on instinct or on things that have worked in the past, but it does come down to the data. The data doesn't lie. And so when you say looking at the data, are you are you talking about, when lead volume comes in and your close rates and things like that to determine whether something's working or not?
So I'm a report data junkie. I was before this started. My boss tells me, that I can tell them what's going on. I can tell him at 2:00 in the afternoon how many leads we've had, how many people been in the showroom, demos, all that fun stuff. That's the way I was trained to sell cars. I believe in it wholeheartedly. But I've been able to take what I learned then, and then look at the data now that comes in and figure out what we're good at and what we need to work on. And basically, I try to turn those into individual profit centers, and I manage them individually. I don't manage them as a group of profit centers, or a whole profit center. I manage them as individual profit centers, and I hold them individually accountable, and I give a manager, that's their job. And I pay them off of that. I don't pay them off of everything. I pay them off of what they do. And what you find is they start figuring out how to raise the bar on that data and make those stats, go higher. To close, factory leads at 10% is a gold mine. Many dealers don't do that. We do because we measured ourselves. At one time we were doing 4%. Well, that's an opportunity. That's, TrueCar leads. There's people that would absolutely call me a liar to my face and say I close TrueCar leads at 15%, but I do.
Wait, what was that again?
15%. we close TrueCar leads at 15%, and we feel like that's a low funnel buyer. But you go into most dealerships and they think TrueCar leads are hard leads that they close on a lower number. They're just price shopping. No, we feel like they're ready to buy. And we just had to do a little training, and they're not just price shopping. They're looking for whether or not you're going to honor that price and whether or not you're going to actually do what you say you're going to do and execute it the way you say you're going to execute it. And so we trained on that. And we went from 5, 6, 7% TrueCar, 13, 14, and we've been as high as 20% in TrueCar from month to month.
Amazing.
But again, we manage them individually. We don't manage them as one, total leads in. And we manage each one, and we try to get better at each lead. And that allows us to, be in a situation where we're at now where everything's coming in on the phone or it's coming in online, and we're still able to sell cars and, be grateful to hopefully sell over 400 this month, which would be, I think, incredible. I still hard to think about. Someday I'll look back on it, maybe pat myself on the back, but it's we're living in the unknown, and to sell 400 cars in the unknowns, I think a hell of a job.
Amazing.
In the known is a hell of a job. I mean, that's fantastic. All right, so we've got 2 more questions for you.
Sure.
All right, Carrie, you want to go first? Or you want to let me go first?
You go first, and I'll follow you.
Okay. What's changed from a dealer perspective? Okay. What's changed in the face of COVID that you think is going to stick around?
I would say that the awareness of how a business operates, I think that it doesn't matter whether it's a car dealership or Walmart or Sam's Club or gas stations. I think that the awareness of how they interact and allow people to consume, and that they have choices to consume, that they're not just forced down one way, I think that will be forever changed. I think that the consumer will have the upper hand on how they want to do things. I don't think they're going to be forced down a single, buying structure that they were before. So, it's made us as a dealership look at it from a consumer's standpoint and say, is the consumer able to consume that the way that they want to consume? Because they got to feel safe, right? They got to feel like if they're going to spend their time here and be safe, that we're transparent with it. And if we're safe and transparent, and we're good people, they're probably going to be willing to spend our money with us. So whether it's you're eating at a restaurant, all of a sudden now, if I were to go through a drive-through, I'm wondering, what are they doing back there? I wasn't wondering that a month ago. I trusted everything, right? My trust level was high because I eat through a restaurant or fast food or buy a car a certain way. Here, I think it's made everybody just stop and take a look at how we do it. Does it make sense? And I think, I truly think this, Matt, I don't think you'll see Home Depots, they were open till Lowe's, they're open till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night for convenience. I don't think they'll ever go back to those hours again. I think it'll be 7 to 8, 7 to 7, because you're going to look at it. We as a country in the economy have done everything we can to allow the customer to try to consume, but I think at some places we've went too far and actually not focused on what they want. Which is an online, transparent, quick, checkout process that allows the customer to actually consume the way they want to consume. And I hate to, bring Amazon up, but that's what Amazon allows you to do. Consume the way you want to consume. And I think businesses will do that.
What about, let's look at our crystal balls about the future of automotive. There has been so many debates, mainly by vendors, I got to say, like that I've seen online, about what automotive will look like 6 months from now, a year from now. We have people saying that everything's going to move online now, that the consumer is never going to want to go back to going into the showroom again. They've done things online, they've gotten comfortable. And then we have other people that are like, nah, dealers will be right back to what they were, right, in 6 months from now. So where do you stand? How do you see the future of automotive changing with this COVID crisis?
I think the only thing I can do is give you my experience over the last almost 30 days. And my experience is that if you allow the customer, most of them actually want to come in. We've offered all these people, let us deliver the car, let us do that. They would prefer to come and kick tires. They would prefer to come and sit in cars. They would prefer to come in and, they think they know what they want, but we delivered them the car and they get there and go, that wasn't quite the interior that I wanted. So I need to take it back and get a different interior. From the car dealership standpoint, I think that moving forward, yes, the consumer is going to have a lot more information online. Yes, we're going to be able to use these videos and pictures and photos to allow them to narrow down their choices. But at the end of the day, the consumer, I still think, wants to come into the store, and we still see that today. They feel like that they're kind of getting cheated on the process if they don't show up here, and it's interesting. I wouldn't have predicted that 30 days ago, but just talking to the customers today, they still like to come in and see our environment. They like to see how we do things, and we're a big fun Ford store who has a lot of fun, and we try to make the customers have fun. So I think customers enjoy that part of buying a car still. Some people hate coming in dealerships and they're intimidated by it. I think those people were out there, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't think those people that number has really ever changed. It's how we communicate with them to make them feel more comfortable to buy a car from Gary Yeomans Ford. Long answer to your question. I don't think much is going to change.
Do you think you'll keep some of the things that are working, though, that you've implemented in COVID? Yeah,
for sure. No. I think that we'll continue to try to do business the way that the customer wants to buy a car. We're not going to shove them down. We're as guilty. Get the customer in here. We need to see the trade in. We did all that. I had to go break that mode and say, we're not doing that. We can still sell cars and be profitable by just communicating with the customer. We have to get over our own fears. And our own fears were, that if we didn't do it the way that we were taught 20 years ago, we're not going to sell as many cars and make as much money. And where I had to convince my team of is give them an opportunity to consume. Give them an option to consume. This is what we feel like your trade's worth. This is 0%. This is when your payment's due. Would you like to move forward? And I think most dealerships are bad at that when it comes right down to it. They overcomplicate it. And what we're going to take from it, learn from it, is definitely allow the customers to buy the car the way they want to buy it. And we're going to be sharper. We're already better from it. I can't wait until the traffic comes. I said earlier, I think we're we average 465 cars. I think if we get as good as I think we can at this process, I think we can average 500 to 600 after goes away and we get back to some normalcy.
That is amazing. Well, I just want to thank you, Jeromie, for being our first guest. You can say you were the very first guest on Industry Insider. You have given us the inside scoop directly from the floor. You are in the midst of this crisis right now and still overcoming. So lots to admire, and we really appreciate you being on the show. Matt, you have any final words for Jeromie?
Yeah, I really appreciate not just you messaging me, but I appreciate what you're doing. Having been in environments before, you can kind of tell some people say it, but they don't mean it. You mean it. And I appreciate that. It seems like you're putting together an environment that is beneficial, not just for, the ownership but your community is getting behind you, with the amount of sales you got. So it sounds like you're doing things right. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you taking the time to be our first speaker. I don't know how people are going to measure up to this, but we have to try.
You have a lot of fans too. People are like, he's brilliant, perfect first guest. So you have a lot of fans out there, Jeromie.
We were also fortunate. I didn't really say, but we've actually used this time to figure out ways to help the community. And last Wednesday, we delivered 500 meals to the hospital for them to eat. We partnered up with a local restaurant. Each week I've picked a restaurant to feed my staff from so I can help feed this, help the community, the local restaurants. But we've used this as an opportunity not just to sell cars, but really reach out to our community. So far we've done 2 hospitals. Tomorrow we're giving 500 lunches to the first responders here in Daytona Beach as well. So
wow.
We're selling cars. We're a lot of people, I posted something on LinkedIn here a couple weeks ago or more, and I've taken a lot of hits for selling cars in this environment. But we're just not selling cars. We're truly reaching out to our community, doing everything we can to help our employees stay employed, put some money in their pockets, feed their families, and then figure out ways how to reach out to our own community and do the same for them. And that's the fun thing about being a car dealer, I think, is we're definitely fortunate to do those things, and it's allowed us to reach a little deeper into our community than we were before. So thank you for allowing us to come on at Gary Yeomans Ford and me to be the first guest. It's a privilege. Matt, thanks for reaching out to me. Yeah. You guys are great, and if you ever need anything, let me know. Anybody ever has any questions, my email is jallan@anewford.com. I'd be glad to have a conversation with anybody about any of this. You can reach out to me there, and we can set up a email or a phone conversation.
That's JALLEN at and then mess it up at JALLAN at anewford.com. I'm actually gonna send it out on the chat for everybody to see that. Cool. And we really appreciate it. And I'm so mad we left that at the end, because I think that just shows so much about who you guys are. It's not just about selling cars. And I think I'm glad to see automotive retail be distinguished as an essential business, but I think automotive retail has always been essential to the community in terms of giving back. And you guys are just one example of that. So kudos to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So we're going to close up, and we really appreciate all of you for sticking around for the last hour. Matt, we're going to be back every Tuesday at, what was it again, Matt?
11-hour time, 2 p.m. for those East Coasters every week.
Absolutely. So we'll be back with you next Tuesday. If you have some guests that you would love for us to have on, great dealers that you know of or in your community, please make sure you ping Matt or myself. I'm at kwise@truecar.com. That's my email. You can also find me on Facebook. Matt, where can they find you?
M Jones at TrueCar, same thing. Also find me on Facebook. And if you have any topics or anything that you'd like some clarity on, please send it along. Remember, the importance of our conversations here with the TrueCar dealer-to-dealer conversations is this is for dealers. We're talking to dealers for dealers. And you are the star. So any questions that you have, you are the star and you are the subject. Please share them with us.
Absolutely. And if you guys have any questions on TrueCar, I just want to put up our dealer website. It's truecar.com/dealer. And I also want to just mention that we have a dealer blog that is at truecar.com/dealer blog. We have a COVID section on the blog that has tons of articles, resources, on tips on selling through COVID. And then we have tips on everything from texting to sales best practices. So go on there, find out more about how you can be better from a marketing and a sales standpoint. And I also want to mention that we will be posting all of the different promotions that we're doing for dealers right now in the face of COVID. So check us out. Matt, you were a great co-host. It was fun.
You were a better co-host.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, everybody. And we'll see you next Tuesday.